We had so much audio issues. Like the audio issues. I want to go shake myself.
I'm over it.
I'm over it.
I'm half dead.
I already don't want to read this. Like my whole story. I'm just like, fuck all of it.
Fuck it all. Let's go to sleep.
Right. Let's talk about how much like draining it was to do all of it.
I agree. So for all you people listening, we had electronic malfunction.
Yeah, it sounded like Rain was in a hallway, but a deep, dark hallway full of mystery. And I wasn't there, so I was kind of jealous. And then I was just like frustrated because I thought it was just her in a hallway and I just wasn't there. And then it ends up that I was the problem.
Fuck it, we were both in the hallway.
Well, we were both in the hallway. I mean, that makes me feel better because I feel like that hallway is filled with good shit. And I am upset that you only got to appreciate the dark hardwood floors and the wallpaper that I couldn't see.
Called the insane asylum.
It kind of is because I wish I wanted to die.
It is.
I wanted to die, you guys. It was so bad.
That was the mental meltdown that was about to happen.
It was like,
I swear, we probably should have had Xanax at that point.
No, seriously, because like I posted I like posted this pretty picture of myself on the Facebook page, and I was just like doing a podcast with my bestie, yeah, my best life, and then it was just like 45 minutes later.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So like, yeah, that's not happening for, yeah.
We finally got our sound issues together. And at this point, we're just like, oh my God, that was the worst experience of my life.
At this point, I can't stop thinking about how comfortable my bed is and me sleeping in it.
It's just not helping. And I have a nice, very nice sweatshirt that I bought from Goodwill. Don't y'all knock Goodwill, because I went to Goodwill and I saw a sombrero and I also got a cow there. And what did I call the cow? Do you remember the ornament?
Cow?
Yeah, it was like a cow ornament. I'm trying to remember what we named her because we gave her a drag queen name. What was it called? Oh, yeah, this is going to irritate me. It was like Lushy Beef or something. Something like that.
So all you know, there's never a dull moment in Rebecca's life.
So we called her Lardy Beef. That was the name. Lardy Beef. And it was like this big fat cow, and she was like holding all these ornaments.
Oh hell.
So yeah, super cool. Super cool cow ornament. Oh, so I said to Rain earlier today that I was going to ask her. This is going to be a new thing we do on the podcast, so you guys can kind of play along. So it's like, if you felt like you had unicorn energy this week or trash panda energy this week. And I have very mixed emotions about this week.
Feel like it was both.
Right. So when it's both, I call it raccoonicorn. Raccoonicorn energy.
Raccoonicorn energy.
So I think
with
that's
fire.
Yeah. I have raccoonicorn energy most weeks, being a Gemini. I bounce back and forth between wanting to burn an entire building down or make cotton candy.
Oh, that sounds fun. How about we do both?
Why don't we do both? Why don't we have a carnival and we invite all the kids and we do hot potato and have cotton candy and a lot of games
and Ring of Fire.
Yeah, something's burning.
The Ring of Fire. And it goes down, down, down in the burning Ring of Fire.
Oh, I did karaoke night tonight. So,
Woo!
yeah. Went out with my ex.
Man, I have to be like super drunk to get up on that stage.
I don't have to be drunk at all. But I mean, usually, I'm a wino. Like, I totally like wine. I drink that box. I'm all about that box wine life. So, just so y'all know, it's like, it's not a secret.
Sure is.
It is not a secret. But yeah, so I sang Janis Joplin, something like a whole bunch of other songs. It's like, but because of COVID, I feel so bad for these bars right now. So because of COVID, like they were only open from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. and it was just like me, my guy there, and then one old guy. Like that's all that was in the bar.
They'll probably say that's Mac.
Yeah, so I like that's the limit. So it was just like me, my guy, and then that old guy, and like, so I felt like obligated to buy more Jack and Cokes than I should have drank, because
I like that.
I mean, Jack and Cokes make you warm, like they're super fuzzy. They're like a big whiskey hug, but it's just like I probably drank about 5 of them because I was just like, I'm gonna support this bar today.
Well, you're probably just a happy person who drinks.
Oh yeah. I'm not a angry drunk or a sad drunk. Like I don't cry or anything like that. I literally am that person that everybody sees at the bar that's just like happy and crazy.
Me, I'm like the resting bitch face.
All right. So we are going to do stories. Stories! What are we doing today? What are we doing? Am I going first today or are you going first today?
I can go first. I mean, it's up to you.
I think you should go first today so I can sit here and listen to a story and drink wine out of my unicorn mug and be happy.
Oh.
I wouldn't be in my happy place. And then I'll share my terrifying child story because I don't know, like my story is like it's creepy, but at the same time it's just like I just think kids are creepy in general. So it's like I have one, like I have had children and they are the most. So
they're always extra.
Like they're always extra, and then I'm just like, if one comes to my door and I don't even know them, then that's even more extra.
Yeah. You're like, go away.
Yeah, go away. I don't have any Twizzlers here, and I don't have any Push Pops, because I'm a broke ass bitch, and the most basic thing that I have here is maybe Go-Gurt. I might have Go-Gurt. It might be 2 weeks old, Go-Gurt.
Go-Gurt?
Yeah, like I have those SpongeBob Go-Gurts, but my kid doesn't eat them. It's like I buy stuff.
Neither does mine.
Yeah, it's like I buy stuff because I think kids like it. Like it's like that's healthy. My kid should like it, and then they just don't eat it.
Yeah, story of my life too. All right, so for my story of the week, okay, we're gonna talk about angels and how people actually see them as. So when people think of angels, they picture a beautiful human with wings. What do you think, Rebecca? What do you see when you hear angel?
I don't really, to be honest with everybody, Rain usually sees them. I don't see them. I hear them, and they are assholes.
They are.
They are. They literally speak the truth. So angels usually are about justice. They speak the truth, or they speak a message that you need to hear. They're directly connected to your lifeline or your life path. So if an angel is speaking to you, it is usually either judgment or instruction.
Yeah, that's pretty much what they're just kind of straight to the point, guys.
Oh yeah.
Anyways, however, the conceptualizations aren't entirely accurate. Angels, according to the holy text, are a bit more bizarre. They say that according to the Bible, there are different types of angels, which surrounds God. All right, so I don't know if I'm gonna say this right, They're called, okay, so they're called Maimonoids. I think that's how it's pronounced.
That sounds like that one Pokemon, like Maimonite.
Maimonides, that's what they're called. I think I might have totally chopped that name up or just said it totally
I'm pretty
incorrectly.
sure you did. It's okay.
I probably did. But that's what they're called. And it says the 12th century, well, in the 12th century, a Jewish scholar ranked these beings in terms of importance in the hierarchy of heaven. So what arises is a description of 4 beings from the hierarchy that have been explained in detail in scripture. So out of the 4, I'm going to talk about 4 of them and a couple more that I have found. But they're talking about the cherub. Cherubim, which is shortened to cherub. And it's talking about basically this cherub is the lowest ranked among the 4 angels that were on the hierarchy to God. Bible describes them as being as animal and human hybrids. Their tasks were guarding the Garden of Eden against humankind.
Oh, they sucked at that.
I was thinking the same thing when I heard that. I was like, man, they really failed that one.
You fucking fail, bitch.
Look at what's happening now. Do you see the world now?
That's why they're the lowest of low. Like, I'm pretty sure God was like, God fucking damn it, cherub. I gave you one job. You fucked it up. You fucking plebe.
Yeah, exactly. The book, they're saying that the book of Ezekiel, the description depicts them as having 4 faces. They had 4 faces. And that of a lion, eagle, and a human.
Oh, so it's kind of Native American in a way, too.
Yeah, they actually, they are connected by lots of different religions and a lot of different beliefs.
Nice.
They say that their legs were straight. They had 4 wings, bull hoof, 4 feet that gleamed like polished brass. And each head had a set of eyes. So it wasn't like eyes all over them on this one, but they're saying it's just like each head, for every head, had a set of eyes.
He was fucking blind. Sorry.
Oh.
He should have more eyes.
One set of wings covered their body, and the other set of wings were used for flying. So the cherub is linked to Greek and Roman deities. They attribute details in the Bible to cultural exchanges with ancient Babylonia, Syria, and Egypt. Cherub's appearances are similar to that of the Babylonian Lamassu, Egyptian Sphinx, and the griffin. So that's what they were trying. So basically all 3 of those, with the Babylonian and the Egyptian Sphinx and the griffin, they are all noted throughout history, and they're saying that these are linked to the cherub's description. So if we think about this, how many years through history did people document seeing these creatures?
Probably more readily than they experience other angels, actually. Being on a lower plane, or that they see them so many times, and I see so many statues of lions, or like what you said, so probably more frequently than most of the other angels, especially on a lower vibration. They probably did see these
right
creatures more often,
which is really crazy to think, because if you put yourself back in those days and you were like in ancient Egypt and you were working on the pyramid and you were actually seeing these creatures, and you think, because they talk about now, were they seeing extraterrestrials, or what were they seeing at the time? And when we go back in ancient texts, they talk about noting these angels. This is what they were described as. How do we know today that they weren't actually seeing these? Well, I can see them every day of my life, but how do we know that people weren't actually working with them and seeing them at that time. So it's pretty interesting information that I am pulling out. There's another one. Huh? I know you're going to ask me a question.
Yeah, well, yeah. Here I am. Here I am. Asking questions every fucking day. No. So it's like, I wonder if, okay, so we're going to go back in that time. So everybody, we're going to go back there. We're going to go back in ancient Egypt or wherever the fuck we were. Okay, like some fucking jungle, whatever. It doesn't matter. We're going to go back in that time. I need y'all to understand that death was more prevalent during that time. I feel like that had an impact on why so many people saw so many angels and beings at the time, because it was like they were so connected to death. We are not that connected to death in this time, because we fear it, or we feel like that like it's not gonna be like an instant thing, so we don't think about it. But at that time, a lot of people were like literally working themselves to death, or had disease, or literally wished death. So it was such a different time, you know what I mean? Like, it was such a different time for people.
Right, it really was. And death was like Rebecca says, death was very there was more of it, because people actually, especially if we talk about ancient Egypt times, people did not have that long of a lifespan. Also, sacrifice was a thing also back then, as well as people just accidents happen, especially when they were talking about building the pyramids and all of those types of things. Accidents do happen. People just worked themselves to death at that time too, and slavery was a real thing then too as well. But we're not going to talk about all of that on this podcast. But the next angel that is that I did write down was called the Malachim. The Malachims are messengers of God, and they were the closest looking to humans. So that's probably where people were associating humans with wings, basically, at that point. And it says they were the third in rank among the four. So they were basically the second. They were like the second from the last angel in the ranking. In the Old Testament, they acted on God's behalf, and did the angel, and as did the angel of death. So they actually worked in a way with the angel of death, and it talks about the angel of death in the Passover story, and they basically act like messengers, like Gabriel did. These angels were often the ones people think of when you are asked to basically imagine an angel, and most people believe human with wings. A Malachim looked like a human, but with no wings. So in the 4th century, they basically re-imaged the Malachim to be humans with wings. So that's where we get the pictures of humans with wings, because the 4th century, they made them into people believing that they were humans with wings, which really they weren't. They just looked like humans, like you and me, and they floated around, I guess. That's what they were saying.
Oh, okay. That's what I was most interested in, honestly.
Understanding where they got that image from. So was I. So that's why I had to dig and see, like, why were they telling people that they were humans with wings, which the ones that I've seen so far don't even look like anything like a human. The ones that I've seen, anyways. So it was kind of an interesting thing that I found about that. But the next angel is called the Seraphim. According to the prophet Isaiah, the Seraphim is an angelic being that surrounds the throne of God. It sings. It actually sings. This is what they were saying. It sings beautiful songs like "Holy, Holy, Holy," and then it just sings like this song being holy about the throne. And then they say that the prophet described them as having 6 wings, 2 of which are for flying. The rest are for to cover their head and their eyes and their feet. They had eyes all over them, but they're saying that they had one major eye in the front, and then they had feet, and they described them as being black, fluffy creatures with black wings as well. So the seraphim are on the second highest ranked of the four on the hierarchy. And the seraphim, actually, let's talk about where the word comes from or derives from. Seraphim derives from the Hebrew word seraph, which means to burn. And in another translation in Hebrew, seraph means venomous desert snake. In ancient Egypt, people referred seraph basically as the cobra, as the flaming one. Its icon was adorned upon the pharaoh's headpiece. So if you look at the pharaoh and he has like a cobra on it, this is actually linked to the seraphim.
Yeah, I see a lot of cobras there, like a lot of cobras in Egypt.
Well, the reason why they're talking about they're linking the seraphim to the cobra and the pharaoh's headpiece, it is said that in the Old Testament, derived seraphim's wings and flames from the Egyptian imagery. So the Egyptian imagery was actually connected to the biblical things that they wrote about the angels. And they were saying that this angel had actually flames connected to it. So it was like a fiery, it had like fire and stuff coming around it. So it had that type of energy around it, which is pretty interesting. Because now that the more I dig into this, it gets a lot more bizarre. And we got to understand this as people. Why is this not being talked about? This is a part in Ezekiel where it talks about Ezekiel wrote all of these scriptures in the Bible, but they're not talked about at all in this time at all. How many people can actually say that they've heard about any of this when you went to church or you go to church? If you do go to church, can you tell me if you've ever heard about this? Because I know that I'd never heard about any of this ever growing up. How about you?
Oh, no. I've been to multiple different churches. Like, I literally was baptized in a Baptist church and actually went to a Pentecostal church. And they really didn't discuss angels that much in any like, honestly, they always talk about God and they talk about Jesus, but the angel conversations don't really happen that much in scripture or in preaching. They don't name angels that much. And it's so crazy to me that they don't even name them, because I have an angel that protects me. His name is Raphael. If y'all want to look him up, he's Raphael. What's up, Raphael? See you, bitch. But I'm just saying that, yeah, like, what's up, motherfucker? Got shout out.
Speaking of Raphael, he is an archangel. So they do talk about there is archangels, but the archangels they're not the highest of angels. So these angels that I'm talking about the top, the top four.
He doesn't get to talk that much, he says.
No, he doesn't. He's actually associated with the Malachim. It says that he is associated. Raphael is the one who leads them, but he is not higher than them. So we understand that. So the top four.
Get super mad about it, Rain. Like, you're making him mad.
Well, can't. I mean, what does he want me to do? I can't lie. That's the truth.
Like if we're an X-Man. We're an X-Men. Raphael gives me Beastman vibes. You know, the scientific guy that is like there for everybody's well-being, but nobody cares about him. And he's just literally like the guy that like knows everything and he does everything. But everybody's just like, yeah, whatever, you're just blue. Like, that's Raphael. Like, and I want to give him a shout out because I feel like he's just always the underdog, but he does a lot.
That is true, though. I mean, he does a lot. Yes, he does a lot, but he's still not higher than the Malachim. unfortunately.
It's not unfortunately. It's not that he doesn't want to be there. He just is like, that bitch. Girl, I can't.
He's probably giving you the resting bitch face. Like,
yeah, I literally
you?
can't because he's getting so mad at you right now. He's just like crossing his arms and like, because this is my angel, y'all. This is my angel. Like, he literally has been with me my whole life, and he's literally just like, you know what though? I just do a lot. He's like, I'm telling you guys, it's just stupid. It's stupid the way he's looking at me right now. I think he's just like, yeah, I see Michael up there, but you know what? Like, Michael wouldn't be here without Raphael. Like, that's the way he's like coming at me. And I'm just like, okay, dude, like, we're not downgrading you. We know that you do a lot. You're a fucking angel, and I'm a human being in my trash panda energy. Like, just don't get mad. Don't get mad, bro.
That's true. That's true. And basically the next one is Ophanim. Okay, so this one is going to be the most bizarre out of all of them. Okay, it's called the wheels. That is what they call them in the English words. The wheels. The most bizarre being in the Bible. Ezekiel in the Bible describes them as being made out of interlocking gold wheels, with each wheel's exterior covered with multiple eyes. Telling you this, I've been seeing this for a long time. I've been seeing them. They have lots of eyes. And when I say this, everybody just looks at me crazy, like I lost my mind. Hey, I didn't lose my mind. Go look at the Bible. It says, they move by floating in the sky. So they're always moving and turning and all of that. They say that they guard God's throne. But it is also noted that these wheels protect children and infants and babies as a guardian angel. So they play both in God's hands. So they protect children and they are on God's throne. So, and it also says that their eyes, it was also noted that God sees us through the eyes of these wheels. I do remember reading that, but it's just crazy. Could you imagine something huge like this that was like wheels filled with eyes and it's floating in the sky? I think people, if they actually seen this creature, people would have a panic attack and it'd be cause mass hysteria and people would be freaking out.
I mean, people freak out like when they see the Mother Mary on a piece of toast. So I'm just saying that anything else would be way too much.
Oh, yeah, it is. It's crazy to see because you're just like, whoa, what the hell am I seeing? It took me at least 2 years to figure out what the hell I was seeing when I woke up. Yeah, because
she literally was like, what is the eye? Like, literally, even after we met, like, and she'd already been seeing all these things after we met. And she was just like, what are all these freaking eyeballs, Rebecca? And she's been talking about this for a while. Now, I don't see them. I am a medium. I don't see them, though. And the reason why I don't see them is because I'm an energy medium, so I only deal with energy. I don't deal with physical manifestations. At most times, I only just deal with the energy of what I'm dealing with. But Rain is a special case where she actually passed away and came back, so she gets to see more than we probably would see. So that's why she gets to see these angels in a different way, but they actually aren't in a different way. That's so weird, and y'all really need to look it up because it's so weird that we all always want to think about ourselves as ourselves, and we want to think about angels as ourselves. So we want to think about angels as being like a physical manifestation of ourselves, but they're higher beings, so that you shouldn't expect them to look like you do. But they do come down to earth. If they're going to show themselves to people, most times they do show themselves to you as being a certain type of way because they know your brain cannot literally handle what is their actual body. It's the same way, like, and I'm gonna do an episode about this at some point, but I've read a lot, and I've actually listened a lot to past life regression, people that have passed away and they've left their bodies and they've died and they've gone on to that spiritual plane, but they came back to their bodies. It wasn't their time yet, but a lot of these people also experience this, and they also experience God in a different way, where he is not God, like a physical God that you can see that as a person. He's literally just energy, a breath, the trees, whatever, the wind, whatever. They experience him in a different way, where he is just this light energy. And I have talked about this doing mediumship with people, that I tell people that energy is literally like everything. Like, it's everything. Like, you don't understand the bits and parts and pieces, but that's how it is.
It really is. And I can be even a witness to say my story of what happened to me as well. But back to the story of angels. So I did the like I said, the Ophanim is the most bizarre, but he is second from the top. So there is one more. There was not very much information. It was actually, I think it was pretty much left out of Ezekiel. So it kind of like jumped all over the book of the Bible. It went from certain things went from Ezekiel to Genesis, 2 different chapters in the Bible, and the scriptures were very vague. I would probably have to go really digging. I try to dig into different parts of like even other scriptures in Jewish context. So it was like, I only told you a little bit here, and then you have to skip over and go to a different religion and read from here. But they say that it's called Chayoit. It was the highest ranked angel. They appear as fiery beings. So, and they're also associated with Metatron. So let's talk about Metatron. Now, Metatron is
Metatron, it sounds like Megatron to me. I'm just picturing Autobots right now.
Oh boy.
I'm just telling you right now. I'm not the only one, and y'all know that I'm not the only one. It's like, like, I'm picturing little pieces of angels being parted together right now. It's like little like pieces of angels being melded together when you say that. I'm just saying, like, that's what the normal person is gonna
he was
picture.
The highest ranked basically archangel. He is actually, they say he is the most closest to God.
So
and they also associate him. He is also, they say he actually walks the earth, or he's more connected to the earth in a healing way, in guidance. So a lot of times you will hear him being used in a lot of light workers or a lot of readers. They use him because he is actually the one that is associated with healing and guidance. But he is one of the top archangels out of all of them. So that is what is, but it's not talked about much about the Choyoit. I can't even pronounce it. Blah. And anyways, the highest ranked of the angels, and they just talk about that they don't even describe them. They just say that they look like fire. And the way that the scripture was talking about that, Ezekiel kind of described him, or described Chayoit as in, they seen a storm coming in. They were associated with, we can go back to the Roman times, Greek mythology, as Zeus. They were talking about thunder and lightning and fire and all of that type of things that they were seeing associated with this angel, but they don't really describe them. And then there was the Earlim, which is said to be associated with death. The only time this angel came around was basically when there was death and basically genocide and lots of death being associated. And And that was the only time that angel came around. And then there was another one called Hashmalim. It was in Genesis chapter 22 of the Torah, but it really didn't talk about anything about that one either. So these were the bottom two. Actually, the bottom three were not really talked about, and it was going demonology at that point.
No.
So because the part of that, I think, was the Hashmalim was talking about there was fallen, because anytime we talk about angels, we are also talking about fallen angels that was written in scripture of the Bible, saying that
it's literally a mixed match thing, and
right.
It's something I don't want to discuss right now, only because I don't think people will fully understand that angels and demons can be mixed and matched, and like not all demons are bad demons, and it's like really
not all angels are good,
but not all angels are good as well. Like it's like this mixed match energy that it's like not fully understood, and it's not something that I really can talk about at this point, because it's like literally gonna explode all of y'all's minds if I even try to go into it. But
exactly, like
right.
That's what I'm saying. Like this, I stopped at that point because people don't understand that there's so much scriptures that people don't even talk about or even go into, because at that point the only people that would have talked about demonology would have been the Jewish people and the Catholic Church, and that would be the only scriptures that would be there that would talk about the fallen angels, demonology, where any of that information would be lying. So that's where I stopped at that, because I just wanted to say I only covered the ones that I see them, but I only covered the ones that I can see and understand, that people need to understand that there is more than just the archangels. Yes, the archangels are connected to the top 4 angels that are written in context, but the ones that on the top 4 are really big. They actually float around. So I just want to say that they float in the sky. You guys cannot see them apparently, and I can see them, but they're really, 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 really big. And there's lots of them. There's just not one. They're talking about that with they're like armies of these angels. There's lots of them. There's just not one. There's multiple. So when we talk about an archangel leads them, they're actually these are called legions of God. So these are armies of angels, and the archangels are like the head angels that lead them into war. So it's also, and this just popped up, I'm being pointed at this time, that I'm being pointed at when they did the context in the Bible where they talks about God and the devil or Satan, whatever, went to war and they had that fight. Well, God wasn't just only fighting the devil or the Satan at that time. They're actually pointing me that those legions and the archangels actually helped God in the war of what he was trying to win. So I just want to put that out there. So there is not just one, there's lots of them.
There's lots. And some of the fallen angels are actually quite sad.
Yeah.
They all didn't mean to be in the place that they are in now. So it's so weird. So weird.
Yes.
That's why I said some of them will help you. The fallen ones will help you through some things. They may be lower, not that they chose to be, but just because they are, and it's just a different place at a different time. So it's very interesting.
It is. All of it is very cool. Very interesting. And great information, too.
And great information.
I'm glad I got to put it out there.
Yeah. Y'all listen to this shit and just fucking listen to it.
And make sure that you guys like and subscribe to our YouTube channel so you can hear us next week and the following week and the following week.
Yeah, because most of our podcast is gonna honestly go on the YouTube channel. It's so much easier for me to audio edit like the YouTube channel. But I do still post it to Spotify and all those other things, but so much of the other like audio stuff goes into YouTube than it goes into anything else. Like that's just how it is, cause I'm a busy ass woman. Sorry, y'all. Sorry, not sorry. Not sorry at all. I just fucking work all the time. I have no life other than this. So my story is about the black-eyed children. So this is kind of a super creepy urban legend that resonated around 1996, but some accounts are actually noted earlier than that, around the 1980s, after the story was shared or actually talked about. Other people like in the past were like, oh yeah, I had that experience too. So it like there's like some mixed match timelines there, but like for the majority of the part, we're looking at 1990s. So I want y'all to go back to 1990 because I think most of our listeners were like in their full force at that moment. So at that time, they were all playing with Slinkies and Pogs, and
yeah,
like everybody had a Slinky, and then like
Tamagotchi.
Like Tamagotchi, like we're going back to that time. This is the time that we're at, 1990, which I think is a great year. So it really began. Well, okay, so I really want to talk about whether it's an urban legend or whether it's truth. So you gotta kind of decide for yourself at this point whether it's facts or fake. That kind of thing. And the only reason I say that is because like a lot of the story started manifesting around one person. So like if you start talking about something and you really believe in it and you're really convicted about it, it can spread kind of thing to other people. So that's one of the issues here in the story. But so this guy, Brian Bethel, okay, so he's a Texas reporter, and he said he had the first encounter with these black-eyed children. So he said, I had the first encounter, like I saw them first kind of thing. And he talks about when he was parked in his car. He's parked in his car. This is telling you how old this like time frame is. He's parked in his car. He's parked outside a movie theater. And it's like nighttime. He's parked outside the movie theater. Okay, he's sitting in a parking lot and he's writing, this is where I laughed. He's writing a check to his internet provider. Nobody does that.
In his car?
In his car. That's why I was like, what? You're like, I better pay my internet, better write this check. Like that's the part of the story I was just like, was he really desperate about his AOL connection? Like,
oh, I better pay this bill before I go in this movie theater.
Right? Like, that's kind of where the story gets a little weird for me, that he's just like, oh yeah, I was sitting in my car writing a check to my internet provider. It happened to be a movie theater venue parking lot. I was just like, okay, that's very specific and that's very weird. Like I literally am like I'm trying to manifest this energy where this guy was just like, hey, I better write this check to AOL for my dial-up ghost flat, whatever. Okay, so we're gonna move on from that. Super weird. So apparently 2 children approach his car at this point, okay? So they're between the ages of 6 and 12, he says. And one of the there's the younger one doesn't really say that much, but the older one is always vocal. That's generally how these stories go, where these children come to your house and do weird shit. So there's always a younger, there's always an older child. So he says that the older and the younger child were dressed in hoodies. They were both boys. And the first thing that he noticed as they're approaching his car was he was gripped with this overwhelming sense of like just fucking fear. He was scared to death. And like I said, I don't care who is coming to my car. I don't care if it's Betty Crocker. I don't like, you could be a nice old grandma. Like, if you're coming at me in my car, I'm just like, what the fuck are you?
Give me all your brownies.
Right. Like, so at that point, I'm just like, okay. He's like, I am overgripped with a sense of fear. I would be fear mode no matter who came to my car. Like, it doesn't matter. Ronald McDonald, well, he's pretty fucking scary. He's a clown. And if he carried like burgers to my car, I don't know how I would feel about that. But
I don't even think I would open the window.
I'm just saying that anything comes to me when I'm just chilling in my car, I'm just gonna be like, what the fuck you want? Like, what the fuck is happening? Like, don't talk to me. What? Like, this is my personal space. So, he is sitting in his car. He's writing this check to the internet provider or whatever. So these boys come to his car and they knock on his window and they tell him that they bought movie tickets to watch. This is where it tells you how old this fucking shit is. So they tell him that they bought movie tickets to watch the last movie of Mortal Kombat. They're like, we bought tickets to watch Mortal Kombat. We forgot our tickets. We need you to drive us back home. Can you drive us back home to get our tickets? And he realized that the last showing had already started. Even if he had drove them back to get the tickets, they wouldn't even make it back in time to see the movie. So he was just like, no, I'm not driving you anywhere. Like, this is fucking weird. Like, you forgot your ticket. It's not my fucking problem. And then at that point, they literally shot up at him, looked at him in the eyes, and he noticed that they had no whites in their eyes. So it's just literally like black eyes, like soulless black orbs into their eyes. And they were like, they looked at him dead straight in his car and said, we can't come in unless you allow us to come in. So you need to let us in. And he was like, no. I'd be like, fuck that.
I'll just get out of there. Like, what the hell?
Right. So basically he did the same thing. He basically was like, no, I'm not letting you in. This is super creepy. I'm gone. Like, fuck this shit. So he shifts his car into drive and he just drives off. They were being super violent. They were like literally banging on his car window and being like, let us in. We can't come in unless you tell us we can come in. And they were just like banging on his car window. And he was just like, fuck this, I'm out. He just drove away. We looked back into his rear view mirror. They were gone. Like, there was no trace of them whatsoever. And he was just like, what the fuck just happened? So that was like, he says this is the first encounter, but like I said, like, people said that they had other encounters with these children throughout that. And there's different views of where these children came from as well. There actually was a medium that they hired to investigate these children, and she said that, I don't know the name of the disease, and I'm sorry, y'all. So you might have to look up the name of the disease. I'm sorry, because I'm not sure, but it's like dysphoria or something like that. So she said that she came in contact with one of these children, and they told her that they were a part of that time. And one of the symptoms of dysphoria was having these black sunken in eyes, but it just doesn't match everything else going on. So I'm just like not sure that that's what's true. I don't think that that's what's true. Somebody else also said that they think that they were alien children, or
wow.
Like basically somebody said they got abducted at some point. And they got abducted and they went to wherever fuck abductees went to, like fucking slabs, whatever. But she said that she was in a dark room and she saw all these tubes and she saw all these children in the tubes. and that these children had these black eyes and the same similarities of this. And she said that she asked the aliens who they were, and the aliens told her those are the children of the future, which is super weird. Because I'll tell you why that's super weird, like going forward. So most of these children, when they come up to your door, they knock on your door, they want to be let in. They just don't seem to have the right timeline. People have reported them knocking on the door and being like, somebody's like, hey, what do you want? And then the children have been like, hey, can I use your telegraph? Like, a what? So their timeline is off, that they're asking to use a telegraph. Or they'll be like, pardon me, may I come into your domicile? Like, their language is off. They're extremely polite when they first knock on your door. So oftentimes most times they'll ask you to use your phone, or ask to be let in, but they have to have that invitation. So that's why I think it's a more of a they really didn't even talk about this in any of the things that I read about, but like anytime they kind of talked about vampirism. You know how vampires have to have an invitation,
right?
But to me it sounds more demonic, because demons also have to have an invitation. And they didn't even brush up. They didn't even talk about demons at all in any of this, which I thought was super fucking weird, because I was just like, demons need to be invited too, right? Like, they didn't even They didn't even talk about it, but I think that this is more of a demonic thing. Personally,
I agree.
Yeah, personally, that's what it feels like to me, especially with it being children, because most of the times, demons often guise as children, because they know that people are most susceptible to letting children in or feel more empathic to children, so they often guise themselves as children.
Well, I watched something about this too, so they were talking about it had to do with spirit, demonic form. But they actually, when the kids got in the house or the building, they were trying to kill the owners, and they were very malevolent and mischievous and did things on purpose to the owners of the building. But that's what I watched something on, so I don't know.
Yeah,
everybody has an opinion.
Right, there was a story about a woman. Like, there's not very many stories about the children actually being let in the house, except for the one that I read. There's only one that I read about the child being actually let in the house, and they were literally so what the story says is the woman was in her house, her husband was in the house, it was super cold, it was winter time, so she goes to the door, and she feels like there's a presence there, and she hears a knock, and she goes there, and there's these two kids there, and they're like, we're super cold, can you please let us inside, give us some hot cocoa, we're so cold, invite us in, we're so cold. And the first thing that she noticed was they didn't act like they were cold, even though they said they were cold. She's like, she noticed that they just didn't seem really frazzled about being cold. But she still felt obligated to let him in because it was like cold. So she let him in, and they sat there, and literally she was just like, okay, so you want me to make you some hot cocoa or something to warm you up? And like, they were just, our parents will be here soon, and that's like, what? like that's the first thing that they said to her was, our parents will be here soon.
Wow, that's creepy.
That's super creepy. Like, how would the parents even know that these kids were here? And like, she's giving so she's like, okay, whatever. Like, she gives a hot cocoa. She's feeling super weird about the situation. She gives them hot cocoa, and then they look up at her, and like simultaneously, both of them at the same time, the same monotone voice go, "Can we use your bathroom?" Like both of them at the same time say that, and she's just like, the fuck. So like she's like, it's down the hall, so they both get up at the same time and go towards the bathroom, and her husband's in the next room, and apparently they stop and stare at the husband, go to the bathroom, come back, okay, and then apparently some adult entities do end up picking these kids up and they leave, and then after that the husband ends up dying from radiation poisoning, and she gets very ill. So there's like radiation shit involved with this phenomenon.
Wow.
With having to deal with these kids. Like her nose starts bleeding blood, like he gets cancer, he dies, but she doesn't feel very well after that. So like some people say that they're alien hybrid are trying to figure out how humans live or how we live on Earth. So they're like looking at what we're doing, and that's why they want to be let in. But I just don't think that that's really what's going on, because like I feel like if an alien really wanted to know what's going on in your house, they would just fucking teleport in there and be like, yeah, that I see your fucking couch. Like,
you need to stop being a couch potato and fix the world.
Like, I mean, how many like alien abductive stories have I read that they just literally just came in the bedroom and were like, I'm taking this bitch, she's coming with me right now. Like, I just don't I don't feel like they have to be invited in. You know what I mean? Like, I think that's just...
You're getting abducted, bitch.
Right, like, literally, they'll just be like, these blinds are open and I'm coming in that fucking bedroom. I see your pink nightgown. We're going right now. We're going right now. Like I said, most of the stories that the super creepiest one that I actually read was the one where the lady was like, she heard this like tap 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 on her window, and she went to her balcony, and like the kids were there, and they were like, can we come in? It's super cold outside. Can we use your telephone? And she was on the 3rd floor, and there were no stairs.
Wow.
So that's the creepiest one, I think, because it's literally like, how the fuck did you get up here? Like, no.
Yeah, I'd be say,
fuck off.
You ain't coming in.
Right, like, you fucking floating on my balcony, get the fuck out of here. Like, you want me to let you in? No. There was another one where, I guess they came to some guy's house when there was like, it was Halloween, and he opened the door, and there were like he thought they were trick-or-treaters, and it was the black-eyed kids there. And they were like, can we come in? And he was like, no, take your candy and leave. And they got super aggressive. So he shut his door and he latched it. And he was just like, go away. Okay. And then like one of the kids was eating an apple at the time. And like one of them was just like, I need to come in. I need ketchup for my apple.
Ketchup.
Ketchup for my apple. And he was like, what the fuck, no. So he like just kept chasing him away, and he was like, that's super weird. Like, he's like, I just don't know what it is. Like, he's like, but they disappeared, and he didn't know where they went, and he was super confused by it. But when he opened the door, he saw the half-eaten apple at the door. So he knew it was true, but he just didn't know, like, what the fuck just happened. Like, I can, like, literally just relate. Like, if something like this happens to somebody, like, who do you talk to about it, number one? And number two, like, how do you even start talking about, like, how do you write about it? How do you figure it out?
I think I would like feel like adults would be afraid to, because with the world of pedophilia going on, you'd be like, why is there random kids knocking on my damn door? I don't want to be associated with any of that.
No, and like half the time they're very young. Like I said, they're between the ages of like 8 and 16, and there's always a head. So there's always the older one always kind of pushes the younger one. So they're the verbal ones. They're the ones that go on to they're the attackers, and then the younger ones are literally there just kind of being like sad little puppies in the corner. So you feel compelled. Right. You feel compelled to help them. You feel compelled to do something, and then they look up at you, and you literally just see like no eyes, just black, soulless eyes staring up at you, and they're just like, "Let us in right now. We need to put ketchup on our apples."
Ketchup on our apples.
We need Mortal Kombat tickets. Let's go.
Yeah, but it just makes you think of why are these random kids just knocking on my door? Fuck that. Get away from my door. I don't even care what the situation is.
I don't even open my door for Girl Scout cookies. And I like Girl Scout cookies, but I wait for them to be sold outside the Walmart like you should. Don't come to my door. I know you're going to the Walmart. I'll get them there. Yummy. I will get them there right outside my establishment. You no need to come to my door. No, it's super creepy. It's super creepy. And that's, I mean, basically it for this story. But recently there have been more sightings like in this year, but there's not that much information. So that's why I say that I'm not really sure where, like, when I first read about this and heard about it, I was like, oh my God, this is so compelling. Like, these kids are like gonna kill people. But I feel like it's an urban legend more than it is facts. That's my personal feeling. I feel like that maybe some people experience ghost energies or something that they couldn't explain, but I also feel like some of these stories were built on legend. Literally, this guy Bethel, when he first started doing this, or he talked about his first story, like a couple of months earlier, prior to him posting this first encounter, he literally posted a separate article saying that he could create a legend or create hysteria in people by manifesting a poltergeist energy or something that wasn't true into existence, and people's minds would create it kind of like a talpa.
Right.
So that's kind of like where I get a little like, and this is Bethel. So Bethel said that a few years prior to him posting his experience. Now he says that his experience was valid and it was true, and he doesn't go back on it. He says, you know, I experienced this, it was the truth. But I mean, we can't forget that he posted that a few years earlier, and I do feel like you can manifest energy into existence. Yeah, even if you did if you did experience it and you're saying that it's true, maybe he manifested it himself, wanting it to be true, and it affected other people. So that is something that people can do. I don't know if you guys know that you could do this, but you can do this. I don't, like, I'm not telling you to don't fucking do this, but I'm just like, if you really want something badly, you can manifest it into existence. You can manifest an energy into existence. You can manifest spiritual energy into existence. So if you're like, I wish like gnarly toxic energy was here and it would just crush all of my energies, or all of my enemies and all of my whatever, like, you can manifest that. You can manifest that, but you have to understand that that will come back to you as well.
That is true.
Yeah. So if you manifest bad energy, that bad energy lives inside of you now, and now it can affect you the same way that it affects other people. So you that's why I feel like he experienced these children because he manifested them into existence because he wanted them to exist. So now they affected other people at the same time they affected him negatively as well. So you have to be careful with energy because people don't understand that they can create entities.
True. Sometimes you don't even realize you're doing it and they can do it.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, you can't, like, sometimes you can't even, like, you don't even know what's going on. You're like, whatever, fuck this bitch. She's a fucking bitch. I just wish an elephant would sit on her or whatever. But I'm just saying that, like, that energy is power. So negative energy is power. Angry energy is power. Just the same as light energy is power. So you need to be careful, and that's why me and Rain always talk about balance and shadow work and all that other stuff, because it's all balance. It's all the scale.
It is.
You have to pick. Just put all the coins, like all the gold nuggets on both sides, and just weigh them out equally. But that's it. That's it for us tonight. Super short. I don't know if it's super short. I feel like we go on forever.
I don't know either.
I
don't know if it's like just me being a trash panda. Has it been? I feel like a trash panda, so I haven't even been paying attention to the time. I feel like we've been on here forever, so.
Forever. So she's a trash panda. I am also a trash panda. Neither of us are Yakuna Corned or Yakuna or like energy. Unicorn energy. There's sleep.
Biscuits, bread, and sleep.
And butter. I like butter on things. So there's that.
I think sleep. I like sleep.
Butter and sleep. I just
comfy pillows.
Yeah, and butter. I'm just gonna keep saying butter. So butter. That's my trivia question.
And jam and peanut butter.
Exactly. So that's my trivia question.
And mayo.
What did Rebecca want so much? Butter. So if y'all don't get this, you're all not butter. You're coal. You're ash.
I feel like that was a riddle. You didn't figure out the riddle. Shh, she wants butter.
I want butter. I want some butter. Bread. So I'm gonna make that after this right now. That's where we're going. Butter and bread and sleep. And good night, you guys. Yeah. And I love y'all. Good night from me and Rain. Bye.
Good night.